It is mailbag time here on Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys have had a very, very happy holidays. And let's answer some questions here on today's show. Levante Rogers, DeForest Buckner, and Daron Payne on the Bears with Will Anderson and Yannick Ngakoue. My God, I don't think you're getting all four of those guys. Could you get multiple? Yes. I do think you could sign a guy like Payne if the Commanders don't want to pay him. I think Yannick Ngakoue is definitely gettable. You could obviously draft Will Anderson. If you get a top 2 pick, there's basically a 100% chance if you want him, he's yours. You could trade for DeForest Buckner, so we'll see. Could you get one or two of those guys? Yes. All four? That seems a bit of a reach. Hugh Carrito, how is Josh Downs at run blocking being so small? Producer Rolly, you have any 2 cents on that one? I know when you're watching UNC, you're probably not watching Downs blocking that much, but does he at least get in there and mix it up a bit?
Yeah, he'll mix it up. I wouldn't say he's good at it. If you ever watched UNC's offense with Phil Longo, they were more air raid.
Yeah.
So when they were running, it was more of like, oh my God, they're running for 5 yards.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have a lot of experience in the pass blocking sense of things, or run blocking, excuse me. But listen, you don't draft wide receivers in the first 2 rounds to run block. I'm sorry. I know it's a run first Bears team.
Yeah.
But.
And you got guys like Claypool who can do that. Big physical players. St. Brown or N'Keal Harry could be back. They're good blockers. So, I wouldn't say it's a strength of his. From Zachary Wilchinski, you think somebody like the Raiders or Chargers would be willing to trade a star receiver, a defensive lineman, and their first-round pick for the number 2 pick? So, like with the Raiders, I assume you're saying, and right now they have like the 9th pick. So, like, hey, here's Davante Adams and pick number 9 for pick number 2. That seems unlikely. Would I do it? I might. I said I wouldn't have done that T. Higgins one because you dropped to 28, but if I'm still in the top 10 and I have Davante Adams, like, that might be a different story. Chargers, Keenan Allen. The problem is he's injury prone. I don't think I would do it for one of the Chargers dudes because they're also in the playoffs. They're going to be picking in the 20s. But if the Raiders are picking in the top 10 and they want to get rid of Carr and kind of reset and get a quarterback, and they're willing to give you Davante Adams to do it, maybe I might be willing to do that. Tacos Army, since OBJ likely isn't signing with the team this year, could the Bears sign him in the off season? This is a juicy mailbag. I think it's certainly possible, and I do agree that I don't think OBJ is signing this year, which means he's going to have to wait until next off season. If that changes. But with 2 weeks to go, it seems unlikely. I do think it'll be kind of a fresh slate, right? More teams will have a chance at him. I still would guess he would sign with a team viewed as more of a win-now team, where I think the Bears could be a playoff contender next year, but it's not a given, right? Like, he'd probably rather sign with more of a guarantee, like Buffalo, Kansas City, Dallas, someone like that. But I do think that the Bears, with the money they have, would certainly have a chance to get him. Now, do you want to sign OBJ next year? Type S for sign or P for pass. I could go either way. Like, I could understand the thinking of, hey, I don't want to overpay to get OBJ when we have other needs. I certainly understand that mindset. So let me know what you guys think. Curious to see where you guys weigh in. Today's episode of Chicago Bears Now is brought to you by Fetch. Fetch is super easy to use and free to download on your iPhone or Android at chatsports.com/fetch, as you can earn rewards for literally anything you buy. Scan any physical receipt or e-receipt, and you will earn points for your purchases. In the process, this is the best part, only takes seconds. You don't have to worry about where the receipt is from or what is on it, so let me show you how simple it actually is. All you have to do is open up the Fetch app, press that orange camera button, and snap a photo of your receipt, and then hit submit, and then you'll see the confetti pop showing you that you have earned more reward points. It's a simple process. You can also click the e-receipt function to get rewarded for Amazon purchases or other online shopping by syncing your email account. Then you can redeem those points for gift cards at Amazon, Starbucks, Target, Walmart, or hundreds of retailers or restaurants. Whatever you want, it's probably going to be on there. Chatsports.com/fetch. Promo code CHAT gets you 5,000 bonus points. Download the app for free. Use promo code CHAT. Go to chatsports.com/fetch. Promo code CHAT for 5,000 points and start scanning your receipts today. From Keem78, so far, Poles has shown himself to be calculating and patient. How much of the $110 million salary cap do you think he'll roll over to 2024? Well, I don't know the exact number. I think it's 90%, but you have to spend – you can't have like $80 million to roll over. Like there's a floor threshold that you have to get to. Now, he could sign a bunch of guys to one-year deals and then just have more money next offseason, which he'll probably do some of that. But it's not like they can take $80 million into 2024 on top of what other cap space they'll have. So I could see them rolling over some money, but they got to reach the salary cap floor threshold first. From Q Carrito, I am a very big Derick Hall fan, being an Auburn fan and all. He is the guy that can be a leader on a defense. I think he will be a fan favorite. I was surprised he was there in the 5th round, and let me just say this. The mock draft simulators aren't perfect. He could be an example, honestly, of a guy that will actually probably go higher than that. So take that for what it's worth. I try to avoid drafting guys that I'm pretty confident are going to be higher than they actually are, but I'm not exactly sure where he'll go. So I went ahead and took him there. But, yeah, I mean, he's been productive, 4-year player at Auburn, so I'd love to add him on day 3. Another super chat. Appreciate all the donations. They do mean a lot. 2024 second or third for Ryan Ramczyk. Saints so hurt on cap. Yeah, I mean, maybe, right? You could talk me into that. I wouldn't trade a high pick this year, but 24, I would maybe do that. That fixes your right tackle issue. You've got Braxton at left tackle. Hopefully Tevin Jenkins is your right guard. And then, you got to address center and left guard. Maybe you address one of them, and, the other one is kind of up for grabs. So we'll see what happens there. That could be a possibility, though, of trading for Ramczyk. Gabriel Coate. What is the lowest spot you are ready to drop down? Like, you mean willing to drop down to? Kind of what I did on, if you're watching live, this most recent mock draft. I got down to 11. I don't think I'd want to go much lower than that. Like, ideally, I'd stay in the top 10 and really more like the top 6 or 8. But, like, to drop outside of the top 15, for example, I mean, I'm having to get 3 first-round picks. Like, a pick this year, a pick in 24, and a pick in 25, at least. I mean, and you're probably more picks as well. So, but, I mean, you look at, like, the Jared Goff and the Carson Wentz, the RG3 trades, there's been huge draft trades in the past. And, again, if you get that number 1 pick, even number 2, there's going to be a chance you could pull off one of those. Do you want the latest Bears news and rumors? If you do, subscribe. It's 100% free. We're going to have you covered through the rest of this season and all off-season as well. Daily videos, news, rumors, draft, free agency, answering your questions on mailbags like this one. We do it all, so go ahead and subscribe. Keem78, what happened to Will Fuller? He basically had a year off to rest and heal. Bears could snag him for a 1-year deal. He's probably cooked. I mean, the guy has had so many injuries. When no one signs you, you're cooked. I mean, that's usually what that means. Now, I could see him being the classic, like, Ian Rappaport in April next year gets a text from his agent. He tweets out, Will Fuller's been training and is going to start taking workouts for team with the plan to return in 2024. Remember this moment, because that tweet will happen. He will be one of those guys. But again, it'd be a vet minimum deal. Sure, I'd be down to work him out, just like I was this year, but I don't think he's bringing much to a team at this point. John Dorman, thoughts on pairing David A-Chain and Khalil Herbert? Down. A-Chain's in that grouping of backs in the 3rd to 5th round, along with Chase Brown, Zach Evans, Kendre Miller, a lot of other guys in there as well that if you don't re-sign David Montgomery, draft a guy in that range, pair him with Khalil Herbert. Let's go. Gabe the Great, D-Hop or Mike Thomas trade? I'd rather have Hopkins. Thomas has played like 3 games in 3 years. So, Hopkins. Now, Thomas would be cheaper probably, but I don't think I'd trade anything more than like a 5th-round pick for Michael Thomas. So, if you can get him for a 5th-round pick and maybe restructure his deal, sure, I'd be open to that. But I would rather have DeAndre Hopkins. What is your New Year's resolution going to be? Let me know in the comments. Happy New Year's, everybody. It's almost here. I want to know what your New Year's resolution is going to be. If you're not doing one, just say, I'm not doing one because I don't believe in that shit. So let me know, New Year's resolution, if you're going to have one, what is it? Do you think the Colts would give up DeForest Buckner to move up with the Bears if the Falcons, another QB-needed team, end up ahead of the Colts? Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible. I think he's a prime trade candidate for Indy if they want to move up in the draft. So, and obviously, Eberflus is familiar with Buckner, and would like to get a talent of that stature if the trade made sense. Is Jackson Smith and Jigba a possibility? Absolutely. A trade down. You're not going to draft him in the top 5, but if you trade down and get a pick in the teens or something like that, he's absolutely a guy that could get drafted by the Bears in that range. Kitty Ricker, if we get the number 1 pick, do you think Houston would give us 2 and 10 along with some later round draft picks? I doubt you would get 2 and 10. That's what I would ask for, but I don't know if you'd get 2 and 10. Now, you might get 2, their second round pick, and maybe like a pick later on, which is still pretty good, right? Because Houston's not taking a player that you want, right? If you move from 1 to 2, got a day 2 and a day 3 pick to go with it, kind of similar to what the Bears gave up when they moved up from 3 to 2 to Trubisky. It was something like a 3rd and a 5th to move up 1 spot or something like that, and obviously the number 3 pick. That would be great, because then at number 2, you can trade down again, or then you just take Jalen Carter or Will Anderson, whichever player you like better. From Lincoln Wyland, would you re-sign Claypool, Mooney, and Jalen Johnson? I think you mean extend, because they're all under contract next year. I would probably extend all 3, even Claypool. Why? Because if Chase Claypool was a free agent, would the Bears be interested in him? The answer is yes, because they need more wide receivers. So I would extend Claypool, Mooney, and Jalen Johnson. And I think if you extend those guys now, you get them at a better price. Maybe it's not a huge extension. Maybe it's like a 2-year deal. But, yeah, I would extend all 3. You got enough money to do it. It's not going to necessarily impact your cap this year. So I would be very much on board with doing just that. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate all your questions, all your super chats today. If we didn't get to them, we apologize. We'll try to get to them as soon as possible. You can always hit me up on social media at HGramNFL on Twitter and on Instagram if you have any questions. But hit that sub button. Join us every Tuesday for our live mailbags.